We are now live, gentlemen.
Are we doing the intro music?
I can do.
Where is it then?
Who pressed it? Who's in charge here?
I'll press the wrong.
Snakes. The Duke of Leicester. Feels like that. It's me. I
know. We're so professional.
Well, this week's going well already, isn't it?
Oh, haircut.
What ho, Gary? How you doing, mate? Oh, I see you brought a friend.
I was going to say we have Gary and we have Gary's twin.
Yeah. Hey, David. How you doing, buddy? Oh, that chap in your photo there. Hey, Val. He's in a new Marvel film called Morbius. I saw him on a poster. He was in Doctor Who.
He was.
Yes.
He's a very good Doctor Who.
He was my favourite, I think, if I'm honest with you.
Oh. My nodding cat is really loud.
I was going to say, what? It sounds like it's hitting your microphone.
I've actually lost my cat.
Oh, how careless of you.
Right, well, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
As you can tell, this week's show
We
is
do a
going
show
well.
on a Sunday, don't we?
This week's show is going amazing, isn't it, so far?
Hang on, let me top up the show juice. That'll get us going. There we are.
Right.
Found it.
I'm gonna propose, boys, that we have a do-over.
I accept.
Let's have a do-over, okay?
You start again.
Should we start again?
Start what?
The show.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have a do-over. It'll be better second time round.
Does everyone have to say hello in the comments again?
We're going to scrap the first 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be a shame if someone stopped the intro to see why Dan wanted to play it again?
Hello, and welcome to the show.
Wow, it's just... Oh, Gary, you read my mind.
Oh.
If we are caught in a temporal causality loop, I don't think we can afford to second guess ourselves. I think we should carry on as we were planning to.
You mean a white hole?
It's a good point. How many Groundhog Day episodes has Trek had? There's the one where Picard destroys the Enterprise over and over again.
So that's the only one.
Well, none of the others have a Groundhog Day episode.
There's Time Squared, where you've got 2 Picards.
Yeah, well, that's not...
Speaking of Picard, who's watched Picard this week?
Oh, yes.
It's official. I was going to make this announcement on social media, but I thought I'd save it for the show.
Right.
Picard is now officially the best TV program on TV. It has superseded, it's leapfrogged, it's gone above Ted Lasso. I know.
I wasn't
It's
sure
that good.
It would actually reach that status with you, Richard.
It's reached it. It's reached it. It's better than Ted Lasso. That's how good Picard is. I mean, wow. Just wow. Viewer, if you haven't watched it yet, please, I hope you get better sooner out of your coma, because it's just, honestly, it was next level Trek. It was.
I'll tell you what, Richard, we're going to come into Picard very soon, but shall we move on with our first feature and then we'll...
we talk about Picard.
No,
Yeah.
our first feature where we get James to make drinks.
No, we're not doing that
No,
this
we're
week.
not doing drinks this week.
Did I miss a staff meeting?
Yes.
You missed a memo.
This is what happens when you miss staff meetings, Dan. We're resting Booze Reviewz for you to protect my liver.
What? I really not.
It
You're
was
right, David.
superb.
It
It
was
was superb,
superb.
David. It had everything. It had everything you could have wanted, and also a few things that you didn't even know that you needed. It was that good.
Yep.
It was a marvelous.
So we're going back to the interpretive dance feature where Dan this week's going to perform for us a photon torpedo using the medium of interpretive dance.
Apparently, his was a blank.
Misfire.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
Whoosh. Hang on a minute, I can do a better torpedo sound effect than that. There you are.
Pretty good.
Like a slightly camp torpedo, that one, but it'll do.
I always wondered with the photon torpedoes why, when we see them, they look like a sort of basically black roof box for your car. Yet when they get fired, they appear to be a pulsing orange ball. I mean, what's that about?
Well, would you like a real answer, or would you like me to make something up that sounds interesting?
Oh, make something up.
Okay. So basically, as the torpedo is fired and it comes out of the torpedo tube, the magnetic rail arms it. And that arms the torpedo, and the reactor inside the torpedo then starts to cook, if you will. So all the photons and things are spinning around faster, and that's where the pulsing orange light comes from as the torpedo is armed as it exits the bay.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds
That
cool.
was some of the best made up science I've heard for ages.
I have a degree, and that's how I got it.
What was your degree in?
I have a scientific degree. This is the insane thing. Yeah. And I did make most of it up. I even got published. I wish that was a lie. It's not.
Oh, we seem to have lost our moderator.
That's okay. Let's talk about Picard some more. So
That means we can do what we want.
So let's talk about Picard.
Picard.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how you guys felt in terms of your level of excitement for this week's episode of Picard, given that episode 1 and 2 were amazing. You know, they were so good. I mean, we touched on this when we spoke about the first episode of Picard with Tony when he was on the show. We said, isn't it so nice to have some Star Trek to look forward to? Like you're looking forward to it landing on a Friday, and what a great night for it to land on as well. Proper sets you up for the weekend. Oh, Friday night, the work week's over. I've got Picard to watch tonight. Once it's 1 o'clock, I can just open up a packet of crisps and I can pour myself a glass of wine, and I can see what brilliance is about to unfold before me. And it just delivers and it delivers and delivers. Now we all were trying to figure out off air last week precisely how they were going to get out. Do we have a spoiler alert?
Yes, I can.
Someone is in a coma and hasn't seen Picard.
Bear with me one moment. Here it comes.
Yes, we all had a bit of a vote to find out exactly how they were going to get out of last week's conundrum or cliffhanger. It was such a good cliffhanger. It was like and I had assumed, I had thought that we were going to see the evil version of Rios's holographic crew. They were going to spring to life and murder but sadly not. No, it was a bit more of a run of the mill kind of A-team, kind of just go there. But they didn't muck about, did they? So phasers set to kill. You know, the guys who tried to jump them on Rios's ship, they had it set to just put a hole in you and put a hole in Elnor. And then as soon as Seven and Raffi get the disruptors, straight to destroy, straight to cook you from the inside out and just kill them all.
Vaporized.
And that was brilliant. And then it just kept on going from being brilliant to more brilliant. Forgive me, the actress's name that's playing the Borg Queen, when she was crawling along the floor, I was like,
Annie Wershing.
That was just brilliant. And then when she went, "Allow me," and just went like
And I
a
love the way
star.
as she crawls out as well. You had that first contact music playing in the background.
Oh, it was amazing.
That got the nostalgic taste bud tingling.
Oh, did you pick up the Voyage Home music cues hidden in there as well?
Oh no, I didn't. When was that?
Yeah, they're in the hospital scenes.
Ah,
We have, a little bit of a flashback to Chekhov getting injured on a time travel mission.
When he was looking for the nuclear what, James?
Vessels.
That's it. The nuclear vessels. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed we didn't have a thug on a bus with a boom box. But we are in 2024, so
yes.
it's
and that would lead me on to another point of mine for this episode. What else do we know in the Star Trek universe interesting happened in 2024?
The Bell Riot.
The Bell
Riots.
Yes.
This is landing right in the middle of that time period, and it's yet another reference to DS9 in this season.
Well, there are sanctuary district signs around if you look closely.
Yep.
Are we thinking we're going to get an Avery Brooks cameo?
Either Avery Brooks or, Siddig or someone.
Or they could splice them in with footage from that episode like they did with Avery Brooks and William Shatner.
Yep. Absolutely.
Or even if it's
just O'Brien and Major Kira beaming down in the background for a few seconds and then beaming back out.
It would be good if they could get Avery into, I don't know, maybe working at a soup kitchen and he could make Rios his jambalaya. It'd be good. But
so many references to DS9 so far this season and in the trailer. There's so many hints. It would be amazing. Just a few seconds of Avery Brooks would be amazing.
It feels like there's going to be a real surprise dropping. And Dan's back. Are we allowed to keep talking about Picard or?
I thought you were doing Collectible Corner. Sorry.
No, we decided as our moderator disappeared, we were just going to do what we wanted.
So, I mean, have we got any bets? Taking your bets now for who the Watcher is that's been referred.
Is it Guinan or Wesley or the Traveller or
Wesley?
It's strange. I want to actually go on to Watchers. When I first heard the term the Watcher, did any of you watch a TV show that was called Fringe?
Yes.
No.
Do you remember the Watchers being a big part of Fringe?
No.
I hadn't had a Fringe for years, Dan.
James is like, no.
I don't remember the Watchers. Were they the people with the blue gloves?
James still thinks he has a Fringe.
Nadeem has a theory. Brent Spiner will be the Watcher.
I'd love to hear how you've come, because we spoke about this, didn't we, last night, James, when we were shit faced. We were because we know that Data's head.
You're in America and it's in the middle of the afternoon. I do apologise.
We know that Data's head is present.
Yes, under San Francisco.
Yep. And there's nothing to say that his head doesn't get woken up and do something and then gets its memories of doing something erased and then put back to sleep to be found again later. So this is a possibility.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely convinced about Brent Spiner being the Watcher. He's the guy that, if you think about that holographic statue thing, he's going to be the guy who kind of founds the Confederation or the ideals of it.
But that's 200, 300 years further into the future, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no. I mean, yeah, he could be the founders commemorated hundreds of years later. No, I take your point.
Yeah.
We're going to see another one of Soon's ancestors, I think. I think that's a given.
I'm wondering if this divergence in the timeline is something to do with the past tense episode, because that was such a pivotal thing in human history at the time, those Bell Riots. If anything goes wrong there, that will completely change the course of human history. Hence why Captain Sisko took on the persona of Gabriel Bell to make sure that history remained intact. So if something goes wrong there and everything keeps going down the Swanee, as it were, then that potentially would result in the sort of future we saw in episode 2.
Oh, no, I've just thought what will happen. It's time travel, isn't it? Scott Bakula will suddenly appear and go, oh boy.
There's so many potential crossovers.
Maybe. It will be Scott Bakula in an early form of holodeck reviewing when the Bell Riots happened in a homage to the last episode of Enterprise when Riker was in.
Yes, a Sung ancestor.
Yeah.
I'm not certain he's going to be a watcher. It doesn't sort of feel like a watcher, though.
I feel that Guinan's going to be the watcher. I think just to have her in that one episode will be a waste.
I feel like Guinan's going to be the watcher as well.
She has that ability to sense when things aren't quite right across parallel universes.
Yeah, she feels
she did in yesterday's Enterprise.
Yeah, she in yesterday's Enterprise, she has what was it described with the Borg Queen? A temporal awareness.
Yes.
Temporal awareness.
And I think this is the first episode where I actually thought, Jesus, Jurati, that was clever. Well done, that lady.
Oh, that scene was just, it was.
She played that very, very well.
Three scenes together that could have been one. I have to say, it's actually made me think that season 1 of Picard really let that actress down. They could have done so much more with her because she's been superb.
Yeah.
Well, they all have been. But especially her. She's not just someone along for the ride getting dizzy and confused. She's playing a real good part, and I'm enjoying her. It's fantastic.
I'm looking forward to seeing what develops between her and the Borg Queen. I think that's going to be an interesting subplot throughout the whole season.
Well, I did wonder if this is a double bluff. I did wonder if it's a double bluff, but we'll let Dan move on with the organised shutdown.
Just love the way that before we do it, the line the Borg Queen pulled towards the end there, though. You've done something far more dangerous. You've impressed me. If that's not sinister dangling in the air, I don't know what is.
Wow, indeed. Right, let's move on with the actual show. God, welcome to the Picard show. So we're not doing booze reviews because apparently James needs to rest his liver. So we are going to move on to Richard reviews red wine.
Right. So this week we've got from southeastern Australia. G'day, mate. Taparoo Valley. Now, Taparoo Valley is a medium-bodied Shiraz, and it's bursting with apparently ripe cherry. I wasn't getting that. Okay, yeah, there's a hint of cherry. I want to say bursting with ripe cherry. Plum flavors, and a hint of, yes, there's only a hint of spice. This is the 2020 vintage, and it was imported by Kingsland Drinks Limited, Ireland. So it's come from Australia to Ireland, and now it's come to me. And also, you must store it in a cool, dark place. It's suitable for vegans, not for pregnant women.
Okay,
and
thank you for
you
your
must drink responsibly.
When it says store it in a cool, dark place, is that inside you?
I'm cool. I'm not as dark as I could be, but I'm going to Turkey in a couple of weeks, so we'll see.
Wonderful. Right. Now, let's move on to an actual feature.
Pressure's on then, eh? Right, hang on. Let's do this. So this week's collectible, dear viewer, isn't actually something of mine. It's something that was delivered mysteriously to my door. I'm going to throw it up on screen now. Let me just press a few buttons. I've been fiddling around with my tech.
Is it a baby?
So...
Yeah, if it's
no,
it's just going to turn into 3 men and a baby, because I think we could do that. I think we could.
I could make
3 men. And,
really want me
3 men and a Klingon baby. That
not Klingon, but I can do the 3 men and a baby bit. But here we go. So let me just press a few buttons here. So here we have. We should have some light coming on in a moment. Hopefully, there it is.
2003.
So we have here limited edition collector's set beers from across the known universe. Now, there are actually 3 beers in there. There is another one which is a Ferengi labeled beer.
Is the other one
not
smoked?
Yes, that's the one. It's smoked. So I haven't opened it because, like I say, it's not mine. But this is from the Hyde Park Star Trek Adventure that was there in December 2002, I believe. And it was part of the worldwide tour of the Star Trek Museum, which included various sets. I think there was a bridge set and also the Enterprise, the Star Trek Enterprise Armory. So the NX-01 Armory, I believe, was in that tour. It was there for a few months until April 2003, I believe, in which time it gathered 100,000 visitors. And these were on sale there. Now, obviously, anyone who's anyone won't open them to drink them, especially now. Hello.
Carl. Open it.
Sorry?
Open the box, Carl.
Open the box? Oh, okay. Hang on. I'll have to move my mic and everything. Bring it with me. There we go. Hopefully,
It's gonna have one of those big springy snakes in it.
yeah.
Didn't say rip the box.
The box was already ripped. So there is our other beer. We have the Ferengi Eelwasser.
That doesn't sound tempting.
So these are, I definitely wouldn't recommend trying this, especially when we consider, I don't know if I can get it to focus there, the best before date, 31st of May.
31st of May 2004.
Yeah.
I reckon if you cut it like with lemonade or something, you'd be all right.
Maybe. So yeah, about 4.5% a piece. And nice little things. Now you can pick these up. Obviously, we always do a valuation of these things on our collectible corner. No idea what they were worth at the time. Unfortunately, I wasn't at that particular event myself. But you can usually pick these things up for anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 pence on eBay for a set of beers like that.
Nice.
Undrinkable beers.
Absolutely undrinkable, but yeah, they'd look great on your shelf.
How much to get you to drink them?
Many, many more thousands of pence, especially as I'm on an all-day shift tomorrow.
So there is a price.
Simply replace it, I think you would.
The old Ferengi gut rot.
Yeah. Oh, Mark went to the adventure by the sound of it. You have to let us know how it was, Mark.
And Alan has one of those.
Ooh.
Of course Alan does.
Alan, how much was it at the time of purchase? Has it depreciated? Has it increased in value? Do let us know.
More importantly, James is bound to have one in his attic as well.
I did go to the experience, but no, I didn't buy the beers.
Ah.
In fact, I think the only thing I bought there was the program. Yes, it was very impressive. It was in a marquee in Hyde Park. It wasn't in a fixed structure, so it seems to be quite risky, particularly with the British weather. They had all this very expensive kit. I mean, there was a full Enterprise D bridge that you could sit on. It was basically the same one that was at Vegas, as far as I can tell. So, or at least built by the same people. So, yeah, it was incredible.
I wonder what happened to that bridge set. If you're watching and you have the bridge set, please get in touch with the show.
Oh, in that case, Alan, it's definitely gone up in value. Sound investment there. Unless, of course, you drank them.
So I do apologise. My camera's having a bit of a mind of its own tonight.
You're eating a kebab.
Shut
Be
up.
honest.
I'm also eating dinner, and I didn't want to eat dinner on camera. But my camera is being a bit weird and wonderful, so I am pressing reboot.
So when we have these Star Trek, I mean, we've got to come on to this because we've covered it a couple of times and complained about it. We're talking about Star Trek and alcohol. Does anyone know when we're going to be able to get Star Trek wines here in the UK? I mean, it's just not on, is it?
You think somebody that had maybe a pub that was a Star Trek fan would stock them?
You can't get them. That's the point. Yeah.
How? You can't get them in the UK.
Oh, right. We could make our own.
Maybe you could get James Richard to get when they fly to America every week to watch Discovery.
We could look. All we have to do is get a steamer, and we'll steam off the label of this, and we'll make our own ones and stick it on it. and then we'll put it on the show on Collectible Corner, and then it'll be canon. And
Do we have
And then
to make things canon? Oh,
yeah, I think that's something we need to work on, Carl. You and I,
Yeah.
that can be our mission.
Absolutely.
I'll design it. You pick the vintage, and
Mhm.
we'll do it. I've got some
Definitely.
sticky back printing paper.
Excellent plan.
Alan Window did this at a couple of conventions with his various bits. Do you remember, Carl?
Yes, I believe Alan's turned up with some Chateau Picard at a couple of occasions.
Oh,
hasn't
has
he?
he? He's
Yeah.
sold bootleg liquor before, has he?
There we go. Here we go. We're getting all the
Oh,
tips
off the
now.
wine labels. Ah, you've obviously owned a restaurant, haven't you, Alan? Yes.
Right, Carl, can you Chris Whitty us, please?
I shall attempt to do so. One moment. So
Slide
let's
number 1, please.
go for. There we are. We have a slide.
Ooh. So this week it was the finale of Discovery Season 4.
Look at that slobby admiral there. Just because the world is ending doesn't mean you should unzip your uniform.
Absolutely. Fair dues
Oh,
on the
no.
old, having a quick tote on the booze there, but my God, man, do it with your jacket done up.
I like the fact that he carries not one but 2 hip flasks for such an occasion.
Now, questions are rebounding on what's going to happen to Tilly. Is Tilly going to return for Season 5, and is she not? And was it going to be a Academy show? And lots of things of what's going on with Tilly. There has been an interview this week with one of the showrunners for Discovery who has said, Tilly is such a fan favourite, definitely going to be back for Season 5. So watch this screen here. Lee, I'm sure. So, yeah. There's lots more Tilly coming on. Right, Carl, next slide, please.
Oh, hang on. So many screens. There we go.
Should we play the spoiler alert in case people haven't?
Sure.
Yes, that's probably a good idea. Here we go.
I like Saru's soda siphon that he's got there.
He looks like he's a contestant on Tipping Point.
I think he's riding one of those. He's riding an e-scooter.
Yep.
I think at the side of the screen somewhere there should be Bradley Walsh. This is the chase, isn't it? You've won half a galaxy.
Uniform looks like he's riding an invisible pony.
It's a Monty Python pony. It just needs the coconuts.
Let's have a look. David, yes, there is a Season 5 on the way. Absolutely. So, yeah. How many of us have seen Discovery season finale?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yes.
And
But I was thinking about Picard.
Okay. That's the trouble. Right.
So hang on. You were watching one Trek whilst thinking about another.
I'd go with Betty, but I'd be thinking of Wilma.
We can all agree now that the Discovery Season 4 has indeed concluded.
It has. It has come to a conclusion. Yes.
It's concluded. Season 4 is done.
And we found out who species 10C was.
They don't like cricket.
It was jellyfish type things.
Oh, was it not John Barrowman?
No.
What was I smoking last night?
It's the jellyfish from Encounter at Farpoint.
Ah, the things that we never saw again.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was actually them. No, I'll be the first to admit. I mean, most people that have seen our YouTube channel know I've done Discovery reviews before. I quite enjoy Discovery. Have done for the first 3 seasons. This season, I'll be honest, I struggled.
There were positives to take away from this season.
Absolutely.
I quite liked that episode where we got the backstory for the Mad Doctor, where he was enslaved by the Orions. That was good.
I liked the episode where there was the poker game and the sort of trying to win the explosive compound. That was quite a good episode.
The one with the boxing match.
Yes, the one with the boxing match. Yeah,
The highly contrived boxing match that you could tell what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, but Dan enjoyed it, so I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
I watched the episode and watched the highly contrived boxing match, and then I thought, oh, do you know what I've not seen for ages? The episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Uncle Phil swindles the pool people, and then I went and watched that and really enjoyed that episode.
Or even better, go back and watch the DS9 episode where Worf has to compete in a death match with Jem'Hadar soldiers and see how it's done properly.
You're right there, Nadim. If they'd have done it in 10 episodes, there were too many fillers, I feel.
Well, as I say, we can all agree it's now concluded. And that's that.
I very much look forward to season 5, genuinely, so that we can, have more Trek on the screen and hopefully see a little bit of improvement. Because, like I say, I enjoy Discovery and I struggled this season.
The problem, I think, with Discovery season 4 is, and this is almost, I wonder if this is because of we're in this new golden era of Trek, where there is now just so much Star Trek coming at you from every direction. If Discovery season 4 was the only Star Trek we were getting for a couple of years, I think I would have enjoyed it more. Well, like Richard said, there's Picard, and when you hold the two against, and you look even at like Picard season 1, and then you look at Discovery season 4, I'm like, ooh.
It does it feels like they've spent more money on Picard. I don't mean that by the effects. I do mean by the writing and the acting.
In a similar way that Torchwood and Doctor Who. Torchwood was actually an all right show, but the production value all went into Doctor Who. Yeah.
So, I mean, if, Discovery are doing the best they can on a limited budget, fair play. But we always want to remain positive on this show about Star Trek. But things can't get better without constructive criticism. So there's, we've got to say what we like. I think it's fair to say what we don't like and what we'd like to see improved upon.
Absolutely. I mean, you can only see growth up a curve when you start from the lowest point. So, that's season 4.
Although interestingly, I did look today to find out what the viewing figures were for Discovery season by season. And this is the interesting thing. CBS refused to disclose them.
Oh. Did they disclose?
Make of that what you will.
Well, obviously, for the first couple of seasons, it was a partnered release, wasn't it, with other providers as well? So,
but either way, I do think genuinely they have to make do with a much more limited budget than Picard. Picard's clearly got 6 or 7 times the budget Discovery has. They can afford to do more, not just with the special effects. It's not just about that. They can do more. They've got better writers, better showrunners, better,
I think the consistency part with the writers comes in, because I recall when I was looking through Picard season 2 on IMDb, there were only 2, maybe 3 credited writers throughout the entire season for all the episodes combined. And I don't think that's the case with Discovery. I could be wrong, but I think they've got more writers and therefore it's maybe not as cohesive. And
Discovery does feel disjointed, doesn't it? Yeah.
And it's a shame as well, because some of the characters really are good characters. We just don't know enough about them. We just don't know enough about them.
I mean, one thing I really enjoyed about this season's Discovery was Saru's relationship with the Vulcan ambassador. I thought that was lovely. I thought it was really good, and I'm excited to see that progress.
I thought they got really close. Now, everyone's going to think I'm talking about Booker here, but I thought they got really close to doing something they've not dared do properly so far, and that's killing off a main character. And I thought they were going to do it with Depno just for those couple of seconds. And then they chucked the Earth General in instead, and they still didn't kill her.
The question is, doesn't the president of Earth Lady, which Carl, if you squiggle a mouse over, it's the semi-Cardassian lady. Hello.
I thought you meant the next slide.
No,
that's the president of Earth.
Federation. Previous slide, thank you.
What's going on here? Oh, it's all going wrong.
Oh no!
What are you doing?
Here we go. There we go.
Yeah, the president of Federation lady. There.
You mean this lady here?
Does anybody else get Kai Wynn vibes off her?
No.
Well, she's a politician, isn't she, Dan? I mean, they're always going to have an agenda.
You were absolutely right, though. This guy does need a horse, doesn't he? He's desperate for a horse.
Yeah, I think that maybe set everyone up to. You're right, Nadim. I think there was a lot of feeling amongst the Star Trek community of betrayal.
Well, especially since it was pulled 24 hours before it was due to launch. Netflix had been advertising the fact it was coming, and then it never did.
Yeah, I think the fans felt very much betrayed by that. They're going to have to go to some way to repair that damage. I'm still thinking.
In that case, Carl, next slide, please.
Oh, you have to say that when I'm pouring wine. There we go.
So, this was an exciting cameo, which has caused a lot of controversy, which we won't talk about because we're not a political show here. But I have to say, considering she's not an actress, I thought she did a wonderful job.
Yeah, I think she carried it off very well.
I mean, she carried it very well.
We won't talk through the politics of why it's been controversial, but what I think we can do for a rounded view is just discuss on who the lady is, because obviously outside of North America, it may not be very as mainstream as to who she is. I think that's probably the nicest way I can say this. So, Richard, can you fill us in on who she is?
So she's a political activist there's a south of North America, and she does a lot to. And again, it's a weird thing to say to people, possibly in Europe, that don't understand just how much they struggle with equality in America still. And she does a lot to try and bring worlds together in North America. She does a lot to combat racism. She does a lot to promote equality. She's the original Democrat rather than a democratic, as they like to put the IC on the end of it. And she's also a massive Star Trek fan. And she agreed to be in the show. Apparently she asked to be in the show, but she also insisted upon the fact that she was only to be shown her lines because she didn't want any spoilers, so she could enjoy the show herself. So, and I thought she was really good. I thought she carried herself very well, considering she's not an actress. That I thought she did very well. Well, I say considering she's not an actress, she's a politician. But
Stacey Abrams, I believe her name.
Is she related to JJ?
And Stacey Abrams, it may interest you, has run a couple of times for the governorship of
Georgia.
Which I found out today, and we're not turning into a political show. Did you know that if you go for the governorship, which is James, you're my resident legal expert, it's not called governorship that you go for. It's not a governorship competition. It's a governorship. It's spelled differently. It's G-O-B.
G-O-B?
Yeah.
Well, this is yet another example of two nations divided by a common language, isn't it?
So
you see what you've done now, Mason.
So yeah, I mean, we're not getting involved in this, but
as my granny famously said, "Son, Dinny, involve yourself," because she was Scottish, obviously, in the affairs of other small nations. So
it's called so the election to become a governor is called a gubernatorial election, which is Gubernatorial. So gubernatorial election, not a guvernatorial.
Yeah, there's a chap called Ted Cruz. Apparently, he's another chap in North America, and he put on his Twitter, "What the hell is this?" and that picture up, and he was not a fan of it. But I think he plays for the other team.
Well, without getting into it, would explain why the controversy is there. We've had a lot of cameos and from political figures and activists before. Tom Morello,
the King of Jordan.
King Jordan, yeah, but what we've never had as a cameo in Star Trek is someone who's actually an active politician.
Not only is she active, she's actually standing for
Yeah,
election.
For
election later on this year.
That's why whether you agree or disagree with it, that's why the controversy is there. I mean, I think it's completely inappropriate for her to be appearing in an entertainment program. She's running for something. That's my own personal opinion. But that's why the controversy is there. She's currently running for something at the moment, and this is obviously going to boost her popularity. So that's why the controversy is there.
I mean,
you're aware.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask yourself what next in cameos of this nature. Are we going to see in the next season of Star Trek Lower Decks Boris Johnson as the pack-led leader? Is that a thing?
You make us go.
I would pay money to see that.
We are strong.
We level up.
Oh, you've got Michael Gove in there as well.
Boris is a pack-led. There we go. You heard it on this show first.
Oven ready.
We could get George W. Bush back, couldn't they?
Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful?
Oh dear, what have we turned into? We're not political. Let's move on. Right. So, Carl, let's go for next slide, please.
Yes. There we go. Next slide.
Ooh.
Picard.
Yes, right.
Picard.
I mean, I think we should talk about this picture if we divide it into eighths. Now,
You cannot have Seven's ankles.
Lovely ankles. Picard's
It's
boot.
like catchphrase. Can we just reveal one bit of the screen?
Have you ever seen
advanced warning? I could have done that for you.
You ever seen that YouTube compilation of the most inappropriate Mr. Chips from Catchphrase? Viewer, Google it now. It's honestly, you'll spend all night watching it. Oh, you'll be crying. Inappropriate catchphrase, Mr. Chips.
I'm sure the best one was the snake on one side of the. And Mr. Chips on the other side going like this.
Oh dear.
I seem to remember that from an old It'll Be All Right on the Night episode.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to play that. Can I read it out this week? Can I read this out? Are you able to start it from the beginning, or should I just pick it up halfway through?
No, best do it from the beginning.
Let's Talk Trek is not endorsed, sponsored, or affiliated with CBS Studios Incorporated, Paramount Pictures Corp, or the Star Trek franchise, full stop. Star Trek, registered trademark, and its various marks are trademarks of CBS Studios Incorporated.
That was very beautifully read, Richard.
Beautiful.
Oh.
You're most welcome.
Anyway, back to Seven's ankles.
What that means is we don't are in Star Trek. We just chat about it.
What do you make, chaps, of the fact that we no longer have? Well, we do. We've so this is something I wanted to talk about and see how you feel about it. So we've got Picard and Seven there, and they're obviously manning the helm, and presumably they've got a touchscreen display. But Rios, as the captain, can now just go and go and touch the air. Which makes bridge building for James and I quite difficult. I'm not certain how we're going to do. I have had an idea how we might do it, and it would be hilarious.
Transparent
Very minority report.
Yeah, that's about it.
But where do we stand on the whole? I mean, especially with Discovery now, where they just kind of don't even go through a turbo lift anymore, do they? They just go just appear where they're going, and that's it. There's no water cooler moments. Where do we like the whole 3D? I mean, I like it. I don't like it just because it's Picard, because I genuinely think that's where the future's going. I think that's what you're going to have. You're going to have an in-air display that you'll touch, and I think that works, and they've incorporated it really well into the future vision.
Technology nowadays where that might be feasible.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to go on to TED Talks. There's a chap who's already done it, I'll shut up now because Dan's looking at me like we're running out of time.
No. I was going to say, actually, if the viewer is really interested in this type of stuff, there was a Google project that was shelved about 2 years ago called Google Glass, which is very much of this sort of thing, and it's in projection technology, so it's very similar to that game that Wesley brought Well, they tried to get Wesley to play on TNG. You know, the one where you have to look at the spinny things. Similar sort of tech. It does exist at the moment.
Yeah, so it's at the moment you have to have, as you say, with Google Glasses, you have to wear the glasses. But 80s children will remember Jean-Michel Jarre playing the laser harp. And that was in the 80s. So we can't be that far away, can we? So
quite modern cars these days have heads-up displays and things as well. Technology is coming.
You still have to project onto something, don't you, at this point? That there's not a technology where the image appears in thin air.
Well, that's why you have to have an implant or something in your... Yeah.
So, this is the first scene. Like what Richard said, it is interesting to see that there's no holographic crew at the moment.
I want to see an evil holographic crew. Some of my favourite Voyager episodes are the ones where Picardo plays the evil version of the Doctor. He was just superb. So I'd love to see the evil holographic Q.
Next slide, please, Carl.
Brief appearance this episode.
I mean, this basically looks like Q's just teabagged him and he's not impressed.
So Picard.
Actually, what I get from that picture is that Picard knows what's coming at any moment now. Q's just going to go, Wet Willy.
Now, Mon Capitan. Pull my finger. Pull my finger. Pull my finger.
Do you reckon that's it? Do you reckon Q's been out for a curry the night before? And it's like,
Well, we shall know about this next week.
Jean-Luc, it was me.
Oh dear. Well, yeah.
Yes, only Picard saw him in that scene, didn't he? No one else could see him.
And time sort of slowed down if you watched it and watch it again. That scene, everyone else's sort of time has gone a little bit slower.
I thought it was a really well done scene because you have to again, we were talking before about Discovery felt disjointed. You needed to keep some continuity to remind you that Q's behind this. That's the thing. Yeah. So it was only 3 or 4 seconds. It was enough though, just to remind you what it's all about and to keep the continuity going. It was very well done.
Next slide, please.
I'm confused by this. This is not a criticism
or Elnor.
But I don't understand, and I need someone to help me out here. I don't understand why Raffi is so emotional about. Well, not so emotional, but more emotional than everyone else. How is she closer to Elnor than everyone else? I don't.
If you remember from season 1, Raffi and Jean-Luc helped rescue Elnor when he was very young and took him to the monks or the nuns at whatever.
I got the feeling as well from episode 1 of this season that Raffi's been very close to him while he's been joining the academy. He was assigned to the Excelsior with her.
Maybe
they seem rather elated about that.
I think perhaps a small criticism then. Before they moved on to this episode where she went batshit crazy over him dying, they should have maybe dressed that up a bit more in the previous episode. Maybe that was a cut. Maybe there was a cut scene we didn't see where it showed them become closer. Perhaps.
And at this point, Elnor gives Raffi the medallion that leads to the Ark of the Covenant. That was
yes.
This one.
That one, exactly.
That's where it is.
We just need a staff now, James.
Yes.
Make sure it's not too long.
Choose wisely.
Right, next slide, please. I love this. This one scene was was 30 seconds. It was brilliant.
I said to Mrs. Richard as I was watching it and she was sleeping, I absolutely love what they've done with Seven's character here, where she's got the implants removed, and you can read between the lines clearly, but also subtly, the impact it's having on her life. living without the implants, and it's just it's representation, and it's realizing. So if anyone watches Sky Sports, they're running an ad campaign at the moment about people with disabilities doing sport, and the reason 90% of people with disabilities don't do sport is because of fear of being judged. And it's a great advert, don't get me wrong, but this is Star Trek representing that in a way that only Star Trek can do, and doing it so damned well. I mean, I'm absolutely. You're on this journey now with her. Since the last episode, she woke up and she no longer had it. You're on this journey now, and it's going to change people's lives. It's going to change people's perceptions in the way that only Star Trek can. It's so wonderfully done.
Now, interestingly, something Richard's just said there about obviously in this timeline, Seven hasn't got her implants or any of her Borg technology, and we knew that from episode 1 of season 2. When Picard couldn't hear the Borg ship, because obviously he's not got any residual Borg technology in his new body, so he had to ask Seven, "Is it a Borg ship?" And Seven confirmed that back to him. Are we safe to say at this point that she can't hear the Queen? Because in previous episodes of Voyager, etc., she's been able to hear the Queen's thoughts in her mind. I assume at this point that she can't in this timeline.
Well,
she is very much isolated from the Queen, I imagine.
I would assume, but without any evidence, that the Borg Queen has a certain amount of psychokinetic powers, empathic powers that she could probably tune into, that Picard alluded to as to why he couldn't. But what range they have and whatnot, who knows?
Although even without any residual technology, Picard has heard the Borg, hasn't he? He's said he can hear their thoughts. He said that in First Contact.
Doesn't that suggest they haven't fully explained?
This girl turns around to Seven and says, "Are you a superhero?" And just Seven says, "Can you keep a secret?" Brilliant. And it is one of those bits. It's
beautiful.
The whole episode picks on that whole point of every other Star Trek ever, which is, why do you always magically manage to transport to a point where either A, there is nobody, or B, you're on a perfectly level piece of ground? Unlike real.
Yeah, that went wrong, didn't it?
Top moment of the episode. That was so funny.
Yep, that did have me in a little bit of a fit.
Next slide, please.
Oh, look at the poster. Look at the logo.
Yeah.
Yep. New interplanetary explorers, the Europa mission to boldly go.
Now,
Nice.
the ways I've seen it online, and I can't see any in this picture. There's a thing being said at the moment about Jurati says along the lines of, you have to be careful of like the butterfly moments in the past. And apparently throughout this episode, stenciled in various places, there are small butterflies. And you have to go back through the scenes to see if you can find them. But there are butterflies stenciled on items.
Well, if that's not an excuse to go and rewatch the episode again, I don't know what is.
Exactly. Someone has done a guide to it online that you can watch yours. Yes. Okay. Just an interesting one of you've got all this, and it's mentioned in the episode. You've got all this prosperity, and then you've got this abstract difference in which is the poor part.
Well, they make a very poignant comment, don't they? Well, Seven does, about how they were able to live in an age of contradiction for so long before they imploded, and it does kind of feel like that at the moment, doesn't it? In the world we're living in at the moment, it did feel very poignant.
The world is a very
contradictory place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of respect for everyone that's dealing with things of every different level at the moment. Personal and political, and so many people dealing with so many things. It's just it says here. Yeah. Anyway, right, moving on. Next slide, please. As time's running away from us.
Look on the right there. Look at the yellow sign on the right there.
Yes.
Sanctuary District.
Yeah.
Where do we know those from? We've already spoke about that.
Was anybody else amazed at the speed at which she was able to dismantle a handgun that she probably had no working knowledge of?
Yes, she was very effective at that. I kind of wanted her to say, "You call that a gun? This is a gun," and then pull out a phaser.
Yeah.
I was a little bit. Her dismantling it was kind of fine. She's a bit of a hard nut. She's probably got a few antique weapons like mate Rambo has, but yeah, I was surprised she didn't pocket it. I'd have taken it myself.
Yeah, she was quick enough to siphon his wallet, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Well, turnabout's fair play. He was going to rob her.
Yeah, absolutely. Not saying that there was anything wrong with that, but yeah, you'd have thought she'd have pocketed the weapon.
Next slide, please, Carl. Time is running ahead. And
So again, this is what I love. This is when representation is done right by Star Trek. You know, they make a comment that they're girlfriends. They don't. It's not like a massive thing, and the guard doesn't get upset that they're girlfriends, and then they correct the guard for being an idiot for not understanding they can be girlfriends. It was just there, and they were there having their picture taken, and I mean, it was a great scene, regardless of it. But also to get the representation in there when they didn't need to, and to write it in and make it funny. Brilliant writing. Really enjoyed it.
Have any of you listened to the small interim audio book between seasons 1 and 2, No Man's Land?
No.
It's worth it. It's only an hour and a half's listen, and it kind of sets up why the whole bit between Raffi and Seven at the start of this season seems kind of awkward between them. So it's worth an hour and a half to listen to.
Yeah, I shall give that a look. Is it on Audible? Okay.
Yes, it's on Audible. Yeah,
we should give that a listen. Yeah, so like Richard said, this scene was very well done. I like Seven trying to use modern day terminology, but getting it completely wrong.
Image capture device.
And again, at the end of it, another reference to her ocular implant being no longer there, which they did do. They made a big thing in a Voyager episode as well, but you know, no longer having it and him not being afraid of her, you know, not, and it's a massive. I don't want to go on a big thing about it, but it's a massive thing that when it's done right, it's so important because Jerry Ryan's character in this and the way she's acting it and the way they're writing it isn't just teaching people about people with disabilities. It's about teaching people to be accepting of anyone that looks a little bit different, whether you've got an odd haircut, whether your skin's a different color, whether you've got a strange tattoo, you know. Just for that small thing to be gone, the difference it's making in her life because she's not being judged anymore is sending a huge message to anyone watching the show. It's been done so well. I'm very, very proud of them.
Absolutely. Next slide, Carl.
What an awesome scene this was.
Weirdest therapy session ever.
Yeah.
What's
was
the
it?
line?
She secretly wishes Picard was her dad.
What's the line that Picard uses when he's trying to talk her out of assimilation to a degree, which was halfway to hell is still a destination you don't want to be, or something like that.
Yeah. Halfway to hell is still a destination you don't want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it was creepy from start to finish, which was brilliant. Jurati stole the show here. This probably, I think, probably when they wrote it, they thought we'll have Patrick Stewart leading it and guiding her through it and saving the day. And I wonder if they did a couple of script read-throughs and they thought, actually, you know, she's owning this. Let's give it to her. Let's rewrite this a bit and give it to her. And she proper owns it. Her and the Bald Queen own it. It's brilliant.
In this scene, what was your favourite moment?
It was definitely when Jurati says, "Computer, access the drive shit I stole from the Bald Queen."
Yeah.
That was...
Absolutely. And she catches the Bald Queen off guard completely.
With me, it was the one where she's like, oh, she's in a new room now. She's in anger. And it's just like, change. It's like, ooh, okay.
And I've already mentioned, I love the way the Bald Queen becomes very threatening towards the end and says, you know, you've done something very dangerous. You've impressed me.
And then Picard's like, whose hand is this? Mine.
Yeah, that was very much a scene out of Finding Nemo, wasn't it? Mine.
Well, yes. I think that's the end of the slides, Carl. Not being able to put any more in.
Yes, it's not doing anything when I click anymore, I'm afraid.
Wonderful. So there we are. That's been this week in Trek. It has been Picard. It has been Discovery.
We've got lots more Picard to talk about, though.
We're at the
Is
top
it
of
now
the hour.
already? Are we done? Oh,
We are.
okay. We haven't even talked about the scenes in the hospital and
New Worlds.
I'll tell you what. We did start 5 minutes late. So Richard, we'll give you 5 minutes more Picard. Okay.
okay, right. So wasn't it wonderful? I mean, in particular, I loved Rios, who's now a more debonair Riker, who's basically he's got the beard, and he's not quite as tall, to be fair, but he's gone back in time and he's found a hospital and he's found a way to help people and make friends with the child. Oh, it's just brilliant. I mean, it's corny as hell, but it's what you want, isn't it? Let's go back in time and say, I'm not leaving. I'm staying to help the doctor. And it's just, I
just loved the way he switched his character and tried to bribe the kid with the cookies. It's like, so good.
The little story about him being a child and breaking the simulator record as well.
Yeah.
Talking about his
that was really good. Character building, really good. But his just entry, the way they beamed him 2 stories up, I was absolutely crying.
And he set himself up for that as well when he said that with the power being low, the rotational shift of the transporter was out. And it's like, oh well.
It was brilliant. It was just absolutely brilliant. I loved it.
That was backstory done really, really well. Dropped into the scene and it felt completely in place. As
felt
opposed
natural.
to some of the other stuff we've seen.
Yeah,
it felt natural. Realise something actually, and if you're one of our viewers that's watching, we do get quite a lot of viewers watching through the week, and we do know on the stream at the moment we've got some viewers from the States. So we're very fortunate in this country that we are all covered by a universal healthcare, which if anything happens to any of us, we can just walk into any hospital and they will treat us, and that's exactly how it is. And over there in the States, it's very much about insurance and proving where you are, and you've got to be a resident and sort of that.
Yes, in North America, don't ambulance drivers, they check you for your credit card before they... No, seriously, it's not a joke. They do. When there's like a pile-up, they kind of triage you according to what credit card you have in your pocket. Which seems bizarre,
interestingly, it was just the fact that it was a little touch on the lady said, everyone should get healthcare no matter what card you got. So, and just that little political statement again had been put in there, because that was, I imagine, what Rios is used to in the 24th century. It's universal healthcare again.
Yeah, we do. We're not a political show, but I'd say 90% of the population in our country take that for granted.
Very much.
Go and live in another country, and British people will be shocked.
The NHS is one of the NHS is the National Health Service in the United Kingdom, which is a free access health service. Is one of the things I think is like the Richard says, taking far too much for granted.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the greatest achievements of post-World War Britain.
Really was.
And should be protected at all costs.
Without a doubt.
It is not an asset to be stripped. But that's another political story for another day. So, yes. Anything else you want to talk about from Picard? Yes.
So, I mean, the other thing that I really enjoyed, you have to remember that they're dealing with time travel, and there wasn't any real great. We've had in the previous episodes some reveals of some great Star Trek ships. The Stargazer being re-revealed. So we've had no big special effects moment this week to speak of, apart from seeing Rios' ship being slingshot around the sun. I like the fact they didn't go over the top with it, and they did the kind of slow motion a little bit, but they didn't go into it too much.
I think they went tear and some sparks going the wrong way, didn't you, for a second?
They went for subtle as opposed to going over the top. But even though they didn't have any special effects to really show or speak of, they still sold the show because they got done what they had to have done. And the most important thing is they were able to entertain us, because when it finished, you went, "Oh no, That's the end of this week's episode. I've got to
was
wait
actually-
till next week.
I'd
And that's
lost track
when
of time while I was watching it, and during that scene with Jurati and the Borg Queen, there was a moment where the screen blanked out and paused for about 3 or 4 seconds, and I was like, "Oh, that can't be it." And then it came back, and I was like, "Yes, there's another 2 minutes yet."
Brilliant. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when you watch something and it finishes and you're like, no, I need more. And it's like when you see Baby Metal on YouTube for the first time, you're like, I need to see more. I need to see more. You know, it's just marvelous.
Well, that is our hour officially done. So thank you so much, everyone, today for watching.
And if you have been watching it and you've enjoyed the show, could you please hit the like button, the love emoji, the care emoji, or the blowjob face? Please don't hit the angry face emoji, but we'd really appreciate it if you could hit any of the others. It really helps us out.
One of the positive emojis for us, please.
Also helps us out if you press the share button.
Yes, massively.
There's a share button? Yeah, share it, please. Yeah.
Share us
Like,
to
share,
everyone you know.
and subscribe if you're on YouTube. That's the most important things. So if you subscribe, press the bell, and you'll be notified whenever we come online. And subscribers help us get stuff as well. So that's cool. Because the more stuff we get access to, the more you get to find out about stuff, and the more freebies we get to give to you guys. It's as simple as that. So it's sort of like the wheel of care sort of way.
You'll get more of this.
Who could resist?
Absolutely. Right. Are we being let out on a song this week?
No,
No, obviously not. Right.
hang on. Wait.
Oh, God. What have I done? Oh! We have a wish clip.
Well, you missed it, didn't you?
Am I doing the
We got
song?
carried away with Picard twice.
Let's do the wish clip.
Yes, dear viewer, this evening's wish clip is based on the news that broke this week of the casting of, Paul Wesley in the role of James T. Kirk in the forthcoming Strange New Worlds. And this early footage of Paul Wesley as Kirk, showing us how he feels about the conflict in Ukraine, leaked onto the internet this week. Roll VT.
Hope I've got the right one.
There must be lights burning bright somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in the sky. More blue if I can dream of a little lake where all my brothers walk hand in hand. Tell me why, why can't this dream come true? Oh, there must be peace and understanding.
What a wonderful clip this is. Right. Thank you, Carl.
Let's get that song.
Let's stop VT. I thought you were going to do this wish clip, Rick James. James, I thought you were going to do this one. I got this one prepped.
Well, what have you got?
Say the words.
Roll
Can't be worse
VT.
than that.
Shall we raise our shields, Captain?
At ease, Mr. Chekhov. Again with the shields. I wish he'd just relax and enjoy the amazing picture clarity of the DirecTV HD we just hooked up. With what Starfleet just ponied up for this big screen TV, settling for cable would be illogical. What? I can't use that line?
For picture quality that beats cable, you've got to get DirecTV.
Yeah,
That was much better. Can I do my sound now?
Yeah,
Let's do that while I get rid of the weird Captain Kirk impressionist on one of my other screens.
I was up myself. No one was looking. I was thinking of you. I was up myself. I was up myself. I was thinking of you. So that's been Let's Talk Trek. If you've ever listened to the Dookie album, then you'll recognise and love that song.
Right, thank you for watching the show tonight. It's been educational.
Been a really good laugh.
Join us next week for more talk about the brilliance of Picard.
Absolutely.
Why have we turned into an actual Star Trek show? When did this happen? Do you remember such great features as the Gutenberg update? And
when we didn't have any Star Trek to talk about, and we'd talk about Steve Gutenberg for an hour. Those were the days.
We've gone on for Picard so long. I'm amazed we didn't show next week's teaser trailer. I've not even seen that yet.
I haven't got it ready, unfortunately.
Oh, that's just sloppy, Mason.
Well, dear viewers, this is what we talk
I
about.
don't actually want to see it. I don't want to be teased.
I've not even watched the Ready Room.
I don't need to be teased. I am already fully erect.
Shall I tease you, Richard?
No, I'm already.
That feature's not coming back.
Oh,
that was a great feature.
We
Have you any idea how long I spent doing those stamps?
The audience is happy. Hi, Laura. Hi, Laura.
Weekend.
Anyway, back to the blow frozen food.
I'm gonna bet there's still one of those stamps on here somewhere if I look for it.
We'll have to do once Picard's finished and we've got nothing to talk about. We'll have to do Let's Talk Trek does Play Your Cards Right.
Yeah. If there are, dear viewer, if there are any other classic game shows you would like us to put a Trek spin on, do let us know.
Yes, can we do Trek Busters? Like Blockbusters, but with Trek.
Oh.
And Trek Phase. Like catchphrase, but with Star Trek.
Countdown could do.
Mm-hmm.
Klingon blockbusters.
Klingon count.
Please, Bob.
Right.
Dara,
Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, you could do like a Dobbo wheel. And
right,
yeah.
Let's go.
Do we have to?
Look after yourselves and each other. It's been a
wow, I've just found a really old feature lying in the trailer box.
Older than Steve Gutenberg's update.
I saw Tiger, now I understand. I saw Tiger, Tiger saw man.
Well, hey there, this is Joe Exotic coming live from the United States Penitentiary Penthouse, and I'm going to tell you all about Discovery. This week, Burnham and Tilly try to track down a killer. But I tell you what, I'ma save a whole lot of time, because I know who done it. That bitch, Carol fucking Baskin's gone done it. That's who fucking done it. Take a peek under that septic tank, and you'll find what you're looking for. Cold like bowl like my fucking ass.
I saw.
It's amazing how that review's actually valid for this week as well.
Well, if you look through the archive, there's quite a few dodgy things in there, isn't there, really?
Let's Talk Trek, the archives.
The best of. We'll have to release a Blu-ray, boys.
Best of.
We could do a shippity ship like the stuff.
I mean, at one point we had the best intentions of going through the build the Enterprise D and everything, didn't we? But just kind of. Well, if anyone's interested in the Enterprise D build, there it is in that box. It's doing well.
Could we call it a ship?
All 18 issues and 70 part works are sat in that box just waiting. One day, dear viewer, it will come to fruition.
I have a plan for this. I'm going to let someone else do the hard work of buying all the issues and get bored of collecting it halfway through, and I'm going to snap it off on eBay for a fraction of the price, and then I'm going to build it.
Well, I think you'll find there's quite a lot of people doing that right now, Dan.
Yeah, you'll probably be able to get it for a bargain price right now, but I'd wait until the end. And then...
Oh, well, I mean...
There's still another year or so of it yet, I believe.
How much is it on eBay?
Do you know we could do a whole feature on failed features that never caught on, like this one.
My Quantum Leap feature.
Oh boy!
Oh, brilliant.
Why, look at this. Eagle Moss build the Enterprise D on eBay.
Oh, yes, it'll be there.
It is. 4 episodes, 5 packages for 10 quid.
I can only imagine your box of bits, Gary.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, Gary, are you a drug dealer?
And on that one, good night all.
Bye.
Look after yourselves and each other. And watch Picard unless you're in a coma.
Yes.
There's no excuse.
You're done?